The iconic image of Muhammad Ali as a martyr for the cause of freedom, both against Vietnam and for the civil rights movement, is Ali as Saint Sebastian, as expressed by Esquire magazine.
I said to Harold Hayes, I got to do another cover with Ali. He said, what do you have in mind? I said, I want to depict Muhammad Ali as Saint Sebastian. We have him posing, hands behind his back, and slowly pointed to each arrow. And he said, Lyndon Johnson, Robert McNamara, Clark Clifford, General Westmoreland, Gene Rusk, Hubert Humphrey. He pointed to each of the 6 arrows, and he pointed out his tormentors. So it was like, whoa, unbelievable.
Stand by me, stand by me.
Muhammad Ali's first touch at international fame was becoming a gold medal Olympian in the 1960 Olympics in Rome.
We're going to hear a lot more of this young man, I'd say.
His style was quite different to other amateurs. He was very fluent, he moved very quickly, and he talked very brashly. And you could tell that this man was going to be something exceptional.
You feel sometimes with people's presence, they're going to go somewhere, you know? You're looking through your lens, you can feel these people are going to be big one day, you know?
He was already the golden boy of the 1960s. His amateur record was 100 wins with only 5 losses.
The way he became a fighter, you know, his father bought him when he was 12 years old, maybe the only thing his father ever did for him in his life, he bought him a bike, a red Schwinn bike, and he went someplace with some friends. They went in, got a soda, he came out, the bike was stolen. Came out, I'm gonna whip, and he goes to the police station. I'm gonna whip, and he goes, I'm gonna whip that man. And there's a guy at the police station, an officer at the police station, that said, hey, young man, who are you gonna whip? You know how to fight? No, I'll fight. He said, well, I'll teach you how to fight. And the white cop taught him how to fight. And that's how he became a fighter.
The very first time I covered a fight was when he came here in 1963 to fight the British champion, Henry Cooper. Of course, he wasn't champion then, he was just a young, brash upstart, but he was by no means the great personality that he was to become. When Cooper knocked him down with that famous left hook, Henry's hammer they called it, in the 4th round, and everyone thought then there was going to be a tremendous upset. Although there was a little bit of skullduggery in the corner, they say the round was extended because the glove was split. He came out with fists blazing in the 5th round and cut Henry to pieces. The feeling afterwards was that somehow Clay, as he was then called, had been distracted because he saw Elizabeth Taylor at the ringside. And if you look at the film, you can see he does glance down at the ringside and he mouths something, and it's something like "Hiya Cleopatra." And of course, Henry, seeing this, took great advantage of it and floored him. And I've never seen Ali as bemused at any time in his life as he was at that moment.
Well, I went to New York, Madison Square, where he was training. And that's when I got the picture of him, his poetry, which is float like a butterfly and sting like a bee.
Angelo Dundee was hired as his trainer.
Angelo Dundee was not only his trainer and cornerman, he was his Svengali. And again, we talked earlier about did Ali dislike white people? He had a white trainer and a man he respected tremendously.
By late 1963, Clay was the contender for Sonny Liston's world title. He survived the early onslaught of Liston and in the 6th dominated him.
Liston was totally baffled by Ali. He didn't understand him. He'd never met anyone before, and one thing that he was scared of was madness. And of course, Ali feigned madness at the weigh-in. He began frothing at the mouth, and I think Liston was absolutely scared of him. And he does try and knock him out. He does throw some heavy punches in the fight, but Ali was just too young, too quick, and too smart for him.
After the declaration of Clay as world heavyweight champion, he ran to the ringside press and shouted, "Eat your words." Cassius Clay had won the world title, and then he changed his name to Muhammad Ali. The name change and the fact that he had joined the Nation of Islam caused a further furore.
Mother, mother, there's too many of you crying. Brother, brother, brother.
Ali's return fight against Liston lasted less than 2 minutes.
Liston was even older and even more tired, and Ali won with what they call the phantom punch, which is a corkscrewing right hand, which a lot of people said they didn't see, but in fact it did land. It was a glancing blow. Liston was on the floor and he was looking up at this screaming dervish dancing above him, and he thought, to hell with this. I'm not going to get up and take a lot of punishment. Thank you and good night.
War is not the answer.
Ali's second defense of the world title was to be against Floyd Patterson. Patterson had made comments about his religion.
Floyd, really sweet young guy, but he listened to other people. He wouldn't call Muhammad Ali. He kept calling him Cassius Clay, his slave name. And Muhammad said, I want to kill him.
Once again, Ali was dominant. Many criticized him for extending the fight to a 12-round technical knockout. The Illinois Athlete Commission refused to sanction his next fight in Chicago against Terrell. Ali had to travel to Canada and the UK to fight George Chuvalo and Henry Cooper to continue his career.
In Miami, training holds no enjoyment for Clay.
It used to be easy, talking and saying, I am the greatest, campaigning for the title. Now I am here and everybody else is trying to take my title, such as this fellow named Henry Cooper in London, and all of these fellows are trying to get my title now. And it's no longer fun getting up every morning early to run and training every day. It's getting to be a grind and a job, but it pays off if you're in condition and if you can keep winning. I have so much on my mind, as you have been reading, all type little problems, you know, alimony and matrimony and divorce and draft board problems, and it didn't really get me down, but it's just taking a little time to forget about it.
So Clay works out his hate. For him, perhaps, the punch ball symbolizes all those who seem to conspire against him, those who demand tax and alimony, the public who sneer at his Muslim faith, the draft board that wants to send him to Vietnam.
That was probably the beginning of his iconic status when he came back 3 years later, of course, and defeated Henry again in a fight at Highbury, winning in the 6th round, again on cuts.
All things ain't what they used to be now.
Ali returns to America in 1967 to fight Ernie Terrell.
Heavyweight champion Cassius Clay goes through the final stages of training for the defense of his title against Ernie Terrell. A rugged sparring partner tosses some heavy leather at the champ, forcing him to give ground. Experts predict that Terrell will prove to be the toughest opponent for Cassius so far. Clay's draft board says he could be drafted in February. 2 appeals for deferment have already been turned down. Cassius rattles off a bit of doggerel verse for the challenger, Terrell.
He's going around claiming to be the real heavyweight champ. But after I'm finished, he'll just be a tramp. Now, I'm not saying this just to be funny, but I'm fighting Ernie because he needs the money.
Ernie's answer will come in the ring at the Houston Astrodome.
Ali taunted and punished him for calling him Clay.
Like a bird on wire.
You my enemy. My enemies are white people, not Viet Congs or Chinese or Japanese.
In a midnight choir, I have tried.
That's all. Just no comment on boxing, religion, induction. No comments on the weather or nothing.
For the press, what do you have to say right
on the press. All I have to say is no comment.
Due to his change of religion, one of the 2 boxing associations had stripped Ali of his title. Ali was also reclassified by the draft board. which meant he would have to go to Vietnam. Ali stated that he would not fight against the Vietnamese.
I said to Harold Hayes at the time, when Muhammad Ali became a Muslim, and he was bombarded by his own people, by everybody, the fact that he would change his religion, you know, from a big Christian to a Muslim. I did a cover then defending him. I got somebody who really should have hated him, Floyd Patterson, who he destroyed in a fight, to come out on the cover for Muhammad Ali, and Ali's behind him, keeping his mouth shut. So I had done that cover, and it got terrific response, and everybody, and they got a lot of people that came out for Ali, but then what happens? The government trying to punish Ali one way or the other, put him up for the draft.
Ali said, of course, he wouldn't fight in Vietnam because I have no quarrel with them Viet Cong. And he pointed out that the money that he was paying in taxes would pay for any number of bullets and tanks and armories, etc. So why should he fight for something he didn't believe in?
He refused to step forward. He was sentenced to 5 years in jail. They stripped his title. While he was waiting for the Supreme Court to decide his case, he spent his time going to colleges, talked all over the country. He gave young people the guts to come out against the war.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain.
I suppose that was a testimony to his own personality and to the fact that I think the government realized the amount of anti-Vietnam War feeling there was around, and that Ali had become a symbol of this.
In 1970, with his case in appeal, Ali was given a license to fight again, which led to his first fight against Joe Frazier.
25 years of age, when he had his last fight before being stripped of the titles.
4 years, 4 prime years of his life.
He was given a 5-year prison sentence, which he never served, but that was overturned by the Supreme Court, and he was given his license to box again in 1970.
Champ, hang on. Now listen, that's all over. Sonny Liston is all over.
Now you ain't the champ.
Hey, listen for a minute. Quiet now, shut up. How you gonna do this? How you gonna do
You
this?
the champ. You go fight more than 4,000 people live.
What is this?
More people in training than you have.
Wait, what is this?
The first fight with Joe Frazier was the one in which Ali was beaten for the first time. He was knocked down in the final round, of course, Ali. They both ended up in hospital, and I think Frazier stayed there longer than Ali.
It was the biggest gate and the most exciting. Everybody was going there to see Muhammad beat Frazier, and he lost, you know. And it was really a disappointment. You got to understand that it was getting late in Muhammad's career. He had missed those years in his prime.
The second fight was not for the title, and that was a 12-round fight, which Ali won on points.
Well, my man fought a really strategic fight, was in great shape, was able to offset him. He won the fight. I mean, there was no baloney tonight. I thought he won the first one, so I don't know how to make any baloney about this fight. He won it, Howard.
Did he fight the fight as you two had planned?
He just aired a couple of times. At one time he got against the ropes. He started kidding around with the fans. I didn't want that. It was all serious tonight. That's what won it. Seriousness and great shape.
Okay, what next? You really want Foreman?
Oh, sure he wants Foreman. Anytime Foreman wants him. He's not looking for Foreman. Foreman's got to be looking for him. He's the man.
Got to pay back. Revenge.
The Rumble in the Jungle. It was the most bizarre, unusual, extraordinary experience I've ever encountered in 50 years of covering major international sport. A magnificent stadium built in a jungle clearing, 4 o'clock in the morning, Ali, against all the odds, defeating the ogre, George Foreman, at the age of 32.
I done something new for this fight. I done wrestled with an alligator. That's right. I have wrestled with an alligator. I done tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail. That's bad. Only last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean, I make medicine sick.
Nobody gave him a chance to beat Foreman. Nobody gave him a chance because Foreman had destroyed Frazier in a previous fight, just a little while before that. Just destroyed him, knocked him out in the first round.
I'm a brain fighter. I'm scientific, I'm artistic. I plan my strategy. He's a bull, I'm the matador. He's scared to death. He's scared to death.
Ali was Zaire's man. Foreman meant nothing to them. They didn't like him. He upset them by arriving with a huge German Shepherd dog, which was a symbol of the Belgian rule when the Belgian soldiers used to walk around with these dogs. So they hated Foreman from the outset. Ali had everything going for him. And the resounding chant when he yelled to the crowd, Ali Bombayeh, Ali Bombayeh, it meant Ali kill him, Ali kill him.
Watching a fight on TV at Madison Square Garden, a big screen, we're going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. That's Ali's rope-a-dope. That was when you didn't quite know what was going on the first 2 or 3 rounds, and all of a sudden, then he's getting pounded. All of a sudden, Foreman's pounding him, boom, boom, boom.
But Dundee read the fight absolutely right. He said that Foreman was slow. He was not as fit as he could have been, and he said he will blow up like an old bull elephant, and that's exactly what he did.
Ali just came to life, boom, 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 boom. Knocked him out in about 20 seconds. Boom, 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 boom. Oh my God, we went crazy. I mean, the guard would. I was with Guy. We went nuts. It was the most exciting thing I've ever seen in sports.
Almost as soon as that punch had landed and Ali had been declared champion again, the rains came down. There was an amazing tropical electric storm which washed away virtually everything at the ringside, as if the heavens had opened and declared him champion. We all talked to him afterwards, of course. He was in a cabin down by the Zaire River, and he was typically Ali. I mean, he was, I am the greatest. I shook up the world. I've done it again. But he was such a benevolent figure. It's hard to say that he was lovable, because I don't think he particularly wanted to be lovable. He liked to be liked, I think, but he was so ebullient and so full of himself.
Ali then agreed a third encounter with Joe Frazier in Manila.
The fight took place at 10 o'clock in the morning in an indoor arena with no air conditioning, and it was steam heat. They fought almost literally to the death. But Ali himself said afterwards that his experience of that fight was, it's the closest thing to dying.
The fight was stopped in the 15th when Frazier's trainer refused to allow Frazier to answer the bell. This was the last of Ali's great boxing victories. There were a few more fights, including Leon Spinks and Larry Holmes, but Ali was impaired by his developing health issues.
Sadly, although he went on to win several fights after that, I think was the beginning of the end for Ali, because he suffered so much punishment. Indeed, they both did in that fight. There was never really the same fighter again.
He was the first person who brought so much interest in boxing. Nobody was interested in boxing till he came on the scene. And you find families, women, all sort of people getting interested.
He was never anti-white. I have never seen any example of him being any racist attitude in terms of being anti-white. In fact, quite the reverse. He once said that he was the most famous man in the world because he said, you can parachute me into High Street, China, or anywhere in Africa, and they'll know who I am. You couldn't say that about anybody else at the time. The Queen of England, the President of America, he was undoubtedly the most famous person in the world. And to some extent, perhaps still is.
He's like other people like Mandela, but in a different way. Coming from a background of boxing and to be able to do that, it is quite amazing if you think of it, you know.
I mean, he's the worldwide ambassador of courage and conviction, you know.
Ali reinvented himself, I suppose, as an icon because he captivated the young by his loquacity, by his oratory, going around speaking at universities and talking to students. And gradually they warmed to him and they realized that there was a lot of truth in what he was saying.
And you know how he was full of life, and you know, he was sort of almost cheeky and arrogant in a way, but just in the nicest possible way.
And throughout the world, he was the most famous person in the world. He really was. You know, he kids around and says that. I said, Muhammad, you're right. In every culture, you could go to the outback in Australia, they knew him. Everybody knew him. All races, religions, all the poorest people in the world, the richest people. There was so much to admire, you know.
Whoa, stand by me. Whoa, stand